Hey, welcome back. Pleased to say it's working. Woo! So for those who are not technically minded, on the left here, what we've got is a build and test on Ubuntu, and this build and test actually runs Compressonator through a bunch of compression algorithms, and same thing on Windows. And both of these operating systems agree across the board, um, but with a caveat of a couple of exceptions. Uh, Over here, you'll see the entire list, and we can go through and make this green once again. But there are now 108 tests for Compressonator. This test is quite cool. It validates that all values of renum for comp format, as in the .NET comp format, they exist in the native library as well as the same value, which is very cool. That was all like automatic as well. If you're interested, this code will be in master shortly, so you can take a look at it. We've also got marshalling tests. This validate that like everything is the correct length. If this changes the size of compressing options, you might need to like do a bunch of work. So like I'm hopeful that we don't need to change it at all. You can see down here that we're already up to our first BC6H that took 34 seconds to compute and is at quality 0.05. You can see the list it's about to do here. We skip 0.6 quality ones. Can I make this bigger? I don't think so. Whatever, you'll just have to deal with it. We skip 0.6 quality at BC6H and BC7. These are actually generated, but they take about double the time as a 0.05 image. So you can still look at those images, but you don't need to. So we've moved on to BC7 now. BC7 takes like about a minute per image, depending on what's going on. Again, double that if quality is 0.6. So be glad that it is not. Anyway, whilst that's running, what we can do is we can go into this folder. And in this folder, you'll see all these test images. Now, I have verified each and every one of these. And how do you verify them? So let's take a BC1 image of rainbow that is verified, and we're going to drag it into Visual Studio. And then what we can see over here is that on the right, it says BC1 unorm. So this means like, hey, Visual Studio and Compressonator agree. This is a BC1 file, which is great. We can also check the MIPS. For our test, we generate 3 MIPS. Some Resonite assets generate up to 10 MIPS, but 3 MIPS is fine for testing. You can see not much change there. The bands do get bigger though. It's one of the cool things about compression, right? So you can literally see the data increasing and decreasing because these bands appear and disappear. So here's 2, and you'll see they're kind of still there. And then here's 1, and yeah, they are kind of still there, but like they're much, much, much more obvious on number 2, number 3. I can never remember, and it even shows me up here. You can see MIP level 3, 960 by 540. So you can see that the MIPS increase in their when the MIP level increases, the file size decreases, and I keep getting that mixed up. Anyway, that's all finished. For some reason, we didn't run these two. Usually, that happens because they're brand new to the like compilation train, and that's absolutely fine because those are both skipped as well. On this side, we can't do BC67 or BC67, BC7. I just call it BC67 because it's like 6 and 7. But BC6 and BC7 won't be able to go through framework native methods.compress texture right now due to a bunch of GitHub issues. But Brooks Engine mostly uses this one instead, which is convert MIP texture or convert texture. So we've got coverage on both of those now. Yeah, it's all green. It's green across the board. let's look at another MIP file maybe. So actually, let's do a comparison on the 0.6 and the 0.05. We'll do that on Shanghai. So Shanghai, here we are, Shanghai 0.6 BC6H. Dropping that in. So this is just like Shanghai at night, and what I wanted was a lot of like irregular detail, and I wanted bursts of color. So a nighttime picture is great. Reflections are also great for this. You just want to kind of like vary it a little bit. So looks quite good, reasonable quality. If we go up to MIP3, you can see that that looks a little bit more like backgroundy. If that got more and more distorted, you might be like, hey, it's pixel art now. But like you can zoom in and you can see like, hey, we've lost a lot of detail, but it still is quite good. So that's still working. Anyway, if we go back to the first MIP level, which is here, and then we take our 0.05 Shanghai, which is here, and we put it in. What we can do is now pin these. So this is 0.05. This is 0.6. Pin that. We can drag this to the side so it's small. I don't like closing it because I sometimes lose it. Same with this one, and then we can take this and do that. Let's close out a bunch of these so that they're vertically aligned correctly. Okay, now these two images are vertically aligned. Now I can't know that you can't see the correct ones, so what we're going to do, and I won't save this, of course, is I don't know how this works. Oh, here we go. It's because it's black. There we go. All right, can we make that like thicker? Yes, we can. I guess that's just there forever now. Anyway, this doesn't matter. It's for a video. So this is 0.6. And then this, oops. This is 0.05. So there we go. I've done that up in the top there so that you can take a look at it. Go back to this tool, gets rid of all those tool things, and we can take a look around. We also need to double check on the MIPs. So we're going to stay on MIP 1. So let's go right into this HSBC logo. Let's go right into this HSBC logo. On the left here, you'll see we're at a zoom 1018. So we go to like roughly that area, which we are now in. Better is really angry at something. I don't quite know what. How do I pan? And like, I'm no image expert, and I do see a couple of differences, but they're so minute. So as a reminder, the one on the left takes half the time to compress as the one on the right. And you can go look at all these files yourself. You can open up in Visual Studio. They will all be on master in like 5 seconds after you look at this video. So there you go, we're fixed up. I'm now going to do what I call popping the stack, which is where I go up my stack towards the actual Resonite GitHub issue. So I got to take this new version of Compressonator, and I've got to merge that new version into Resonite, get that all tested, and then get it into code review, and then out to a new review. Speak to you soon.